Buckle up for another episode of Below the Iceberg, the one and only podcast where we talk to real-life 2 Comma Club winners. Whether you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a wannabe entrepreneur, or you've been in business for a while, you're sure to pick up tidbits of actionable advice from these million-dollar entrepreneurs. Now, if you don't know what a 2 Comma Club winner is, it's where they've built one funnel inside the ClickFunnels software and they've sold $1 million through just that one funnel, which is an absolutely fantastic achievement. Now, in today's episode, I'm really excited to be talking to Brandon Guthrie, who built websites for $300, but he has gone on to build multi-million-dollar businesses, and now he's achieved the 2 Comma Club, but also he's achieved the 2 Comma Club X Award, which is 10 million in one funnel, and he's well on his way to 25 million. So let's dive in and find out all the unexpected things that's happened on Brandon's path to the $1 million funnel. Okay, so welcome Brandon to Below the Iceberg.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I want to congratulate you on getting a 2 Comma Club and 10x.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a crazy journey and we're just getting started.
I can see it on the wall there. Awesome. Nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How did that get there?
So what I like to do with my guests is I like to go check out their social media stats, because it shows our listeners exactly what is achievable with big followings and small followings. So I checked you out, and Facebook is about 515 followers on your personal profile. That is. Design Dream Labs, you've got Dream Design Labs, 5.1 thousand followers on that one.
Right.
Your personal Instagram, 2,700, around that number. And then I found you on TikTok.
Yeah. Just getting started there. I love it.
195 on TikTok. So it's really good to see what's possible with different people's size following. So what's your favorite? Where do you spend most of your time?
Where do I spend most of my time? I would say that I spend most of my time producing results in the businesses that we are a part of. So
what I meant was on social media, which is the platform you spend most of your time.
Most of my time probably goes to Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I try to spread it out, but yeah, mostly I like Facebook.
Mostly Facebook. So do you want to tell our listeners exactly what it is that you do?
Yeah, for sure. So Dream Design Labs is a marketing agency, and what we've done is we worked really hard to produce the results, did the dark work for years and years and years, finally really started to pop off, produce results for our clients. And then from there we realized, man, we're making these people multimillionaires and we're over here, making a few grand or something, like, come on, what's up with that? What's wrong with that? So basically from there, we were like, okay, we need to start actually seeing this as investors, being real business men and women, and step into equity and partnerships and rev share. And like, there's so much potential here. It's like, that's the next graduation after marketing agency, is like buying and selling businesses. Like that's where it's really at, right? So what we've done is we've partnered with some of our clients, and through that we've been able to take our expertise, and we bring our expertise to the table. They're good at this, we're good at this. Our expertise is marketing. We bring that marketing piece to the business, we scale that business up, and we do our part, they do their part, and we split the profits. And we've been able to, with that, achieve the 2 Comma and the 2 Comma X Club Award.
Awesome. That's awesome. So when did you get the first award?
First award was 2020.
Okay.
COVID.
And COVID. So what was the type of funnel that you were using to get that award?
The funnel that we use to get that award, I would call it a quiz funnel. The quiz funnel has been really good to us. It's really about, instead of running ads based on trying to sell something, it's running ads based out of curiosity.
All right,
So
okay.
you're like, hey, just out of curiosity, see if you qualify for XYZ. And like, oh, okay. I normally wouldn't do this, but I want to check it out.
I lost you there in a minute. I don't know if
Oh,
it's my internet. You went off a little. You went a bit fuzzy then.
oh,
So
hopefully we're good.
explain again so with the quiz, so you're running ads on Facebook
Yep.
for a quiz. So where did they go then? So they say they want to do the quiz. What happens next? So if somebody doesn't know what a quiz funnel is, how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. So basically so we'll give you an example. So one of our businesses is a blown-in insulation, energy efficiency, duct work, all the attic, ceiling and lowering energy bills, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google ads, YouTube ads. We're all over the place. But let's just say for this case, Facebook. And they see the ad, they say, hey, see basically or a program, an incentive program that we have going on right now. Click the link below to see if you qualify. Oh, okay. So they click the link, they land on a quiz page. So it's a ClickFunnels page,
Right.
and there's an embedded type form or jot form quiz, and they answer questions to see if they qualify, because you don't work with everybody. You only work with the type of clients you want to work with, right? So we
Right.
qualify them to see if they qualify to work with us, because we're choosy, right? And
Okay.
and so by doing that, we ask questions in that quiz that prime them for the sale,
Right.
and
Okay.
even handle objections in the questions. Things like, how long have you been doing research? How soon are you looking to get this done? If you could see the right product at the right price from the right company, do we have the chance to earn your business? So like doing these things in the quiz to see if they qualify. And then after they fill out the quiz, then the next step is basically committing to getting a free estimate. So, and then on this page, the first step is really basic, really quick. It's just a quiz. The second page, now we're getting into copy, design, funnel build. This is almost like a sales page.
Okay.
And on this page, say, hey, free professional estimate, or congratulations, you qualify. For a limited time, we're offering free professional estimates. And then we go into a formula of problem, solution, who this is for, who this is not for, features, benefits, testimonials, scarcity, urgency, and then what are you waiting for, copy, and then boom, form at the bottom and form at the top. And after they fill out the estimate page, then they go to the next page and say, hey, you're here, might as well book it in the calendar right here, right now. Boom, they book it. And now we're even experimenting with offering them $100 Amazon gift card if they just book it right now. Huge incentive.
All
Might
right.
as
Okay.
well.
So how's that working?
We're just now about to launch that
All
new
right.
that new
Okay.
idea. Yeah, we were literally boxing about it today. So yeah, I'm excited. We've been talking about it for a minute, but yeah, so I'm excited. I'm sure it's gonna be really good, because yeah. Anyways, so yeah, then okay, book your calendar, and then after that, then we send them to a page. Hey, would you like to see if you qualify for low monthly payments? And then that sends, oh yeah, sure, I'd like to see. Sends them to an application page where they can become pre-qualified before anyone has ever reached out to that lead.
All right.
So
Okay.
so they come in pre-qualified for financing. If they come in at, hey, finance for $20,000, salesperson is going to come in and be like, okay, I know like what I have to work with. And when they've been pre-qualified, the closing ratio is like over 90%.
Awesome. So when you hit the 2 Comma Club, was it a goal to get the 2 Comma Club with that funnel?
I think we more just set out to just grow. And then it was actually funny when we passed the $1 million mark, we were like, oh, we actually got to 4 million. And we were like, oh, we think we qualify for the Two Comma Club award. It's like we should probably apply for that. So yeah.
So you didn't have a party or a celebration at 1 million. It sort of passed you by.
Yeah, I mean, we made it to 4 million. I would say there was a bit of a celebration there. You know, we all flew into town, hung out, spent some time together. Definitely planned for the next year. We're all excited. So yeah, we did celebrate. We did celebrate for sure, but not until we did the 4 million, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. So you were doing that funnel for a client. Yeah.
For a well, because we are partners in the business, it's really we're doing the marketing portion for our own company.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when you did that, was it profitable? Was the ads that you were running, was it profitable? Was it a profitable funnel? Because you hear about people that do funnels, they do $1 million, but actually it wasn't actually profitable.
Yeah, self-liquidating offers. So no, yeah, this one was definitely profitable. We were doing between 10x and 20x return on ad spend.
All right.
So
Okay.
it's definitely profitable.
Awesome.
But I mean, I know the coaching world is different. And we are stepping into the coaching world right now as well to coach what we've done over here. That's super awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be this done for you option or partnership program where we actually step in your business is going to be like our top tier master inner circle is really business partnerships. And we're going to step into the coaching world. And we know that when you're getting people into your value ladder at like a free or a $97 option, there's definitely a lot of times where you're probably going to be self-liquidating, and that's totally okay. Because if you're able to get them on the phone and close them into higher packages,
Yeah.
you know, in the near future, at the end of the day, in a 12-month period, if you're profitable, then it's a home run.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a rewind now, and I want to take you back to your childhood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So, what was your childhood like? Where did you grow up?
I was born and raised in Huntington Beach, California, and I been blessed to have my mom and my dad there with me. I have an older brother, younger sister, and was never was definitely we were in a nicer neighborhood. But I think we were basically house poor is what happened, and we never had money to do anything. We never took trips anywhere. All my friends were always flying around because in Huntington Beach, California, actually that's an affluent area, so
All right.
everyone
Okay.
has money. So all your friends are doing all this stuff, and you're not. And I'm like asking my dad for $5 for like lunch, and he's like, he can't even. It's like a big deal, you know, and I wouldn't even get that. So
So what did
we
your
never
parents
had.
do?
My dad was a sales and is still a sales manager at a motorcycle dealership.
All right. Okay.
Um, and yeah, so that was cool. And then my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so it was a single income in an affluent area, and the income it was a single income that wasn't that great, and it was only a single income on top of that in an affluent area. If we would have been in Arizona or like somewhere in the sticks, it would have been probably more manageable. But we were like, you know, in this nice area of California with a single income and not a great single income at that.
And
Hopefully
what?
my dad doesn't see this.
Uh, what? What was the dream when you was a child? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a professional motocross racer. I grew up riding dirt bikes. I grew up racing riding dirt bikes, and I started beginning to race motocross as I got started to progress. And I was racing, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a professional racer, and there's a whole story there.
So, did you go to college?
I started going to college right across the street from where I grew up at Golden West College in Huntington Beach, California. I started going, and I'm skipping a little bit of the story, but at this point I already was deep into Photoshop and Illustrator and graphic design and really loving that and
All
having a
right.
passion
Okay.
for
How
that.
how did you get into that then?
Um, I so I got into it originally because I was like around this motocross world, this like extreme sports world, and I was really into like the dope marketing, this like the epic marketing that Red Bull had and Nike and just like all these epic brands. I was super like just into the branding, like just loved it, right? And then I actually had a friend in high school. He was printing t-shirts for the silkscreen printer that he bought, and he's using Photoshop. He was like doing these little like stamps on the shirt and like, oh yeah, we're gonna print this. And I was just like, you could, I was like, that's cool. I was like, could you show me how to do that? He's like, yeah, sure. Let me show you. I was like, oh my gosh, I can literally create anything I want on a blank canvas. And to me, that was like so cool. I was like, I could put anything on a t-shirt and we still can. But, and it's like underutilized, amazing ability that anyone could do at any time, right? You can express yourself on a blank canvas. So cool. I was captivated by that, and he kind of got over it, and I was like, what are you doing? This is awesome. Like he started a t-shirt company. And he stopped, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is so cool. So I started my own called Impulse Clothing. I started printing my own shirts, designing. I went all in. I started selling t-shirts at my high school. I would stand outside of like nightclubs and like sell them like outside when people are coming out, all probably hammered and drunk after a long night. Like, hey, like we got these cool shirts. And
How old were you then when you were doing that?
I started when I was 15, 16. I was
Oh
like
wow.
15, 16. Yeah, I was hustling. And
Did you sell them? Did the people buy them outside the nightclub?
100%, 100%. I was like, I'm rich. Yeah, I sold out of that, and it was amazing. And what happened next, connected to college, was I got all into that and actually used lynda.com to really get super proficient at it. It was like 25 bucks a month. You can learn anything and everything, any Adobe product, HTML, CSS, whatever you want, video editing. But I dove deep on Photoshop and Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere Pro, all those cool Adobe products. And I show up to college, and I already have my business now up to this point, and I'm kind of like going through it, and it's so slow. They're teaching it so slow. And I literally was like, oh my gosh, I can't like do this. And I ended up like talking to the teacher, showing him what's going on, and he's like, oh snap, you're good. He's like, would you mind actually being a guest teacher? And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of here. This is too slow. So I literally was just like, who am I gonna show this piece of paper to? Myself? I already have my business at this point. And I was like kind of doing it to esteem myself or have some status or some prestige but I was just like, dude, this is so slow. Who am I gonna show it to? Myself? And I basically bailed before I was like one credit away from my digital art search. I think it was certification or something
Oh,
like
so you,
that.
you
Yeah.
stayed a while then, if you were that close.
I was there. It was like it was 2 years for the
All right.
certification. So I was probably like a year and a half in, and I was like, I'm out.
So what happened next then? So where were you selling? What were you doing with your business on while you was at college? Was it just t-shirts?
So the way the story kind of went was I started doing that, and then I was racing simultaneously. I'm a pro racer, business owner. I wanted to be both. And so I was racing in 2006, San Bernardino, California, at the world famous Glen Helen Raceway. And I was, boom, I was right dead center in the race, adrenaline pumping, blood pumping. And then the worst happened. I got cross-threaded on the face of a jump, sideways in the air, super big jump, landed completely sideways. Boom, smacked the ground with my head. I was out cold,
No.
unresponsive.
Oh dear.
Emergency responders rush over to me, trying to revive me, trying to wake me up. Nothing. Unresponsive. Lifeless. They helicopter me out of the racetrack, rush me to a hospital. I had long hair down to my shoulders. They shaved my head, drilled a hole in my skull, and put a tube in my head to hopefully save me from brain damage because I had internal bleeding in my brain.
Whoa.
And
Wasn't expecting that.
yeah. So from there, I was induced into a coma for 5 days. And I remember I woke up in the hospital 2 weeks later. They removed me, or I came out of a coma 5 days, but I didn't wake up for 2 weeks. And when I woke up, I I couldn't walk, I couldn't function properly. I like was just all messed up. And
Oh
then
my God.
all my aspirations of being a professional racer, being an entrepreneur, business owner, I was like out the window. I was like, if I could just be a normal person now, I would be lucky.
Wow.
So I'm in the hospital. The hospital became my residence. I was there for 2 months straight. It was just physical therapy, PT, trying to get my body to work again. Um, I wasn't able to walk. They would put a leash on me in case I would like fall over in the hospital corridors.
Oh, God.
Um, they they like I remember this specifically. They gave me this little basketball and a little kitty hoop, and they were like, okay, try to shoot this into the kitty hoop. And I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. Like this is stupid. And I tried throwing it. It was like 5 feet away, and I was like, okay, I got this. And I shot it, and it literally just fell like halfway between me and the hoop. And I was like, oh, something's not right.
Mm.
So, um, and I remember one of the most humiliating moments was they took me out to the parking lot. When I started to recover a bit, I was starting to like get my luckily I started to get some of my motor skills back slowly but surely.
Mm.
And they're like, okay, let's take you out into the parking lot next to Beach Boulevard, and let's see if you can run with this leash on you. I was like, so embarrassing, humiliating, just like I'm like trying to just get my motor skills back. So it was wild. 2 months go by, they release me from the hospital. Then they say, hey, you're gonna be on house arrest for a month because you have high likelihood of having a seizure. So I had to stay in my home for a month. Luckily I had some friends come by and like, pay tribute and hang out. And
So how old were you then when this happened?
I was 16.
Oh,
So this
wow. That's
all happened
really
pretty
young.
close.
Yeah. Oh my God. God.
Yeah. Um, but luckily one thing that, motocross taught me was discipline and perseverance. That was one thing motocross, like it really lit up a passion inside of me that I really since have not been able to duplicate. It's like crazy psychotic obsession of motocross, and it taught me discipline and perseverance. So, I didn't give up. So I had a meeting with the doctor. I said, how long until I can get back on the bike? And whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like at least a year. And so I was like, okay. I was like, okay, cool. So what I did was actually shout out to a couple of my buddies, Ryan Andreka and Alex Arnett. We picked up a camera and we started Motivate Media. And so I bought a camera. I started interviewing the professional racers at the track. So I still kept going to the track, but this time
All right. Okay.
I wasn't on the bike. So I showed up with my GIMP limp, and I started interviewing the pros. And the cool thing about motocross is it's like an underdog sport. So the pros just hang out in the track, like in the parking lot. You can just walk up to them. And I was like, you can't do that with NFL. You can't just walk up to the pro, right? But here I was like able to just be like, hey, would you mind if I just interviewed you? And they're like, sure. So I'd interview them. And what I did with lynda.com was I learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript with my downtime that I now had. I learned how to code a website straight up from Notepad, no Dreamweaver, no assisting tools. I literally was like going on expert level mode first and learning how to do it straight up from Notepad. So I built my own website called motivatemedia.com. I think I still own the domain. And I put the interviews on the website, and it's actually if you go back through my Instagram, it's one of my first posts ever. You'll see in one of my website. It's pretty funny. And I put the interviews on there, and I put Google AdSense. So
All
I would
right.
get
Yeah.
paid by the traffic, right? I was making money, still figuring out ways to make money. And so I was doing that, and then someone saw my website and they just asked me like, hey, did you build that? I was like, yeah, I did. He's like, could you do that for me? I was like, yeah, I could do that for you. He's like, okay, I'll give you $300. I was like, sweet, that's a lot of money. So I built him a website and I had my first client, and I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. I think people are willing to pay more and value more websites, so web design rather than just like graphic design, which I was also doing on the, I was also doing that. And I actually had gotten graphic design jobs up to this point. So that's
How
that
were you
happened.
getting the
So
graphic design jobs?
uh I'm the first one, I literally just went online and looked at my local graphic design app, like jobs available, and I found this one down the street at Monster Image. Shout out to Scotty uh over there. I'm pretty sure he's still rolling. He's like, oh yeah. He was like, yeah, I got it. I remember he would even tell his buddy, he's like, yeah, I got the awesome graphic designer for $11 an hour. He was all pumped on it. He was like, I got a great deal. And so I remember I worked that job, and then I moved over to working at a local like Dave and Buster's style place, being their marketing graphic design guy. And then that's where I met the $300 website guy. And so I built the site, and I was like, what? This is so cool. I can like create things for clients in web design. So what I did that from there was I pushed on web design. I was like, this is gonna be, people pay $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for a website,
Yeah.
a graphic design, a logo, you get like $100, this is like similar, similar work, but you're making 3 grand instead of 300.
Yeah. So this was early, wasn't it? There was no Shopify's, there's no website platforms then, was there really?
I think the main one was like WordPress. I remember Magento was out there. I don't know. Yeah, that's not a whole lot. So I get going. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and I do it as a side hustle while I'm working. And up to 2014, my income equaled my salary. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna bail on my salary. I quit my day job. I went all in my business,
All right, okay.
and I was like, sweet, I got a pad by the beach. I was like, yeah, I can make my own schedule. I'm making money. This is cool. And I got enticed by the private jets and the Lambos. And I actually don't like that now, because I made it all about like making money and serving myself, which is where I first went wrong. And so because I made it about myself, I started to live my good life, which was like go party during the week, because I can own my own business. I can do that. So I started going out, getting drinks 1 night a week, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week. Before you know it, I was getting blacked out drunk every single night, showing up to meetings intoxicated, falling asleep at the table.
No, wow.
And I started to lose sight of like why I got into business was to make epic branding, serve clients, and like build my company. And I made it more about like partying. And naturally that it landed me with an eviction notice. And I ended up losing where I was, that awesome pad by the beach that I had. And then I was faced with the pain, humiliation, embarrassment of moving back into my parents' spare bedroom.
All right.
And once I got in there and the door, and I like landed there, I sobered up. I was like, oh man, what just happened? Like I was like out of my mind for like a year, and I finally sobered up, and I was like, what just happened? And at rock bottom, I was like, I realized I needed to do two things. And one was I needed to get my life right with God and get my life like on track to how I should be living my life. And two was I need to learn how to market myself out of this hole that I've got myself into.
Right.
Right.
So how did you, what happened to make you think you needed God to help you get out of it?
So I was raised going to church. I never really like had a connection really. I was just kind of going through the motions. And I think that because I knew in my heart that I um shouldn't be living that way, I knew that I felt convicted that I was off the path, and that God had for me. And I know that God has plans to prosper me, not to harm me. And I know just operating on the principles of the Bible alone, no matter what you believe, if you operate in the ways of the Bible, it's gonna give you a more poise and self-control and greater wisdom and discernment, and like able to have self-control over yourself, so you don't like start going out there and start partying every night. Like when you are slowly but surely working on your business, you're more likely to succeed than if you're like, yeah, you're like reaching at money and like private jets, Lambos, let's acquire debt, let's like you're out of your
Yeah.
mind, so I just knew like I need to like get on those principles. I need to get
Okay. Okay.
on that track.
And what about your physical health then from your
Oh,
accident? How did that go? Were you,
good question. No. So basically, so the year passed, or no, actually, he said the doctor said 1 year off the bike. So 6 months later, there I am on the bike. So I could only get 6 months without the bike. So I got back on the bike 6 months later. And honestly, most of my motor skills had come back by 6 months. I had been doing pretty rigorous physical therapy. And I'm blessed to say that all my motor skills are back, and that I only have a couple of screws loose. And maybe I think that's a good thing though. I think I need a couple of loose screws to be an entrepreneur, right? So yeah. So, basically, uh, from that point, I was like, okay, I need to market myself out of this hole. And what I do from there is, okay, I'm going to scrape the face of the planet to figure out how I'm going to like learn how to do marketing and advertising. So I take every mentor I know out to lunch. I read every single book. I watch YouTube videos till my eyes are bleeding. I literally was on it like 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, like feeling the pain, humiliation, embarrassment searing into my soul every single day that I was living in my parents' house. I was like, you know, it was killing me. So I was nonstop. I was barely eating. I was barely sleeping. I was losing my muscle mass. I was getting pale as paper. I was losing my hair. And like literally my then girlfriend, now wife, her stepdad was like, "What's wrong with Brandon?" He's like, he looks like there's something wrong. He's like, "What's going on? Is he okay?" Because I was starting to get really scrawny because I was not working out. I was not exercising. I was barely eating. Like this is like legitimately happened. And because I was like obsessed with getting myself out of this hole. And I failed a ton, I failed a ton, I failed a ton, but eventually I started to learn, and I kept pushing when there was no light at the end of the tunnel, and there was no hope. I just kept pushing. I had that perseverance and that discipline that I got from motocross, from being an athlete, and I didn't give up. I kept pushing, and eventually, when most people give up, I kept going, and I knew if I could just last a little bit longer than everyone else, that I would be successful. So I always say it was like I was being drugged through broken glass and hot coals and being waterboarded every single day. Like I
nice.
legitimately, like that's how it felt for me. Like I'm not kidding.
So what
It's
were you actually doing though? What were were you in a state of learning, or were you trying to find clients, or were you doing both?
I was more trying to learn, I would say, and probably a little bit of trying to find clients too, for sure. I actually have an embarrassing post that I made like years and years and years ago about like I'll share this one day where it's like, hey, $9.99, I'll do your website, your SEO, and your design or whatever. It's like this huge package I was willing to do for like $999. Now there's no way that we would ever do that, but it was during that time. And I would so have you ever heard of torrents
No.
or crowdfunding?
All right. Yep.
So basically I joined this website. I don't condone this. But basically it was you pay like $20 a month, and you get access to being able to like buy courses as a group. Like, hey, I'm going to put in $50. You put in $50.
All
I'll put in
right.
50
Okay.
bucks.
No, I've not heard of
And
that.
yeah, so I'll, it's called getwsodo.com or something like that. I don't I don't know if it's really ethical or not, but it's like crowd. It's like, hey, like I mean, I guess it is because they're getting paid, right? They're getting paid, but it's
All
like
right.
kind
Okay.
of
So you group together so you can buy a group high ticket coaching and then you'll share the login. Is it
yeah.
that sort of thing?
Yeah, I don't think that's yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think that's
not good,
good.
is it? I do
Not
remember
good.
somebody asked me once if I wanted to do that, and I was like, no, I don't think so.
No, no, no. I don't do that now. So I completely don't condone that. Like if it's my program or someone else's program, I know that they're hoping that we're going to be honest. But I'll be honest, I was being scrappy at that time and I needed to learn. So I got some programs. I was able to access some courses that like taught me Facebook ads and Google ads and all that. And I remember I luckily my dad he weaseled me my way into being able to do ads for his dealership. And I was trying stuff and actually ended up shooting this funny commercial. It's horrible. And I should share this too. It was a Facebook ad. I shot it. I had a sales guy with a shaky arm shoot the video with no audio equipment. And it's me trying to do the Dollar Shave Club ad,
Oh, I do love that ad.
basically for a motorcycle dealership, though. It's hilarious. I'll share it one day. It's going to be a funny story. And it ended up kind of working and it actually produced results, but I wasn't able to track it properly. I couldn't articulate like this money brought in this sales clearly. So it worked. Like when I did the research, like, oh, we turned 2,400 bucks into 24 grand. Like that's awesome. But I wasn't able to like prove it because I was
Right.
new and didn't have systems and
Yeah.
reporting and the guy basically chopped me. So I kept getting, from bad to worse. And but I kept going, and eventually I actually did land a good client through a referral through a friend of mine because he'd been seeing me grinding, starting to produce results with that one Dollar Shave Club Facebook ad. Like it worked. I swear it worked. Like trust me. After all this time of trying, and finally I got someone who trusted me, and really the rest is history. And I actually remembered at the racetrack all the people riding right next to me in the parking lot, but they were either roofers, HVAC companies, or landscapers. And so I was like, wait a second, maybe I should like try to reach out to that community because we click in that like off-road style personality,
Yeah.
And so I reach out, I connect with a buddy of mine from the off-road world, and that was our first the two comic club word. I said, hey, listen, let's partner up. I know you want to grow your business. I want to grow mine. Link me in, add me into your business. Not like some random lead gen guy trying to sell you on leads or sell you pay per lead. Like, let's be partners. I want to be a part of this business. So his last famous words were scared money don't make money. And 2020, we landed the 2 Comma Club Award, doing $4 million. And now we got the 2 Comma X Club Award, surpassing $10 million. And now we partnered up with a similar company, not or in a different industry, but we love this model of like business partners
Right.
rather than like your typical lead gen agency because everyone has enough of those. We want to be business consultants, not just lead gen company,
Right.
And so we've locked arms with another one, and since then we've already cleared 10 million. We're on our way to 25 million now.
Oh, wow.
We're headed to 100 million within 4 years is our business plan, and we're locking arms with a $50 million business here. We just locked in the partnership this week, and we're locking arms in 90 days with another roofing company in New Orleans. And so, yeah, we're just excited. We're basically getting like a percentage of what we create. So if it's $100 million, you can imagine what that could be.
Awesome. So on those really tough days, how did you keep going? What was your motivation to keep going?
So yeah, at first it when it was really bad and I was feeling the pain, humiliation, embarrassment on a real level. Honestly, it was kind of like I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna die trying mindset that really got me moving and wanting to get out of that. That was honestly like almost um that really pushed me. But now it's transformed as I've grown as a business owner. It went from just needing to serve myself and like pay my bills and do it right this time,
Yeah.
and now it's transformed to how do I keep the motivation? And that's where it gets deeper. And it's like I for a while there, I was racking my brain, like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my why? What's my why? What's my why? And um really for me personally, and I want to respect everyone's beliefs, but I personally believe that it's my purpose to be here to further the kingdom of God on this planet. So and I believe that my interests and my talents determine how I'm going to do that. And so I think that through the abundance we create through these companies we partner with, that so our percentage that we actually create, a big portion of that is going to go towards a blessing fund, which is basically just to build homes for the homeless,
All
whether
right.
that's in our country or in other countries. And we're going to call that, like, ClickFunnels has funnel hackers.
Yeah.
Ours is going to be kingdom builders.
All right. Okay.
So doing God's work on the planet. So it's like, okay, that purpose is greater than my circumstances. So if fit hits the shan and things are tough, like, remember your purpose is greater than your circumstances. And by focusing on a purpose, whether you have different beliefs, give yourself a purpose. And then obviously, like for me, obviously a selfish why is like my family, my wife, my future kids. Obviously, like that feels like a selfish why. Like, yeah, I want my little bubble to be taken care of course.
Yeah.
But that, past that, through the abundance, which keeps me driving to big goals rather than just fulfilling only my family, is the purpose that I have, a much greater purpose to make massive impact in the world. And that really drives me to keep me going. And then what it's done is, whether it's good or bad, I tried to stay the same emotional response. Literally, we just had an awesome thing happen the other day. And I got excited for a second. I was like, yes, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You should celebrate. But after I celebrated, I said, okay, cool, bring it back down. Don't get your joy and your happiness from that. Because guess what? It may go away. How are you gonna feel then?
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of like personal growth on on when times get tough, just like being removed from it, and being more focused on your purpose.
And have you had mentors along the way that you think has helped you on your journey?
Yes, 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 yes. So one of the first people, and everyone was probably gonna, a lot of people laugh at this guy, but hey, I gotta say, he got me a little bit into the world. Ty Lopez.
All right.
So
Okay.
some people talk trash on him, but you can hate on him, but he definitely, sometimes you just need the right person to motivate you, to get you off your butt, right? So
Yeah.
Ty Lopez, and I remember Neil Patel and Grant Cardone and like Jim Rohn and um who's that oh man, I love that guy. I can't remember his name right now. But just those personal development people. Tony Robbins was surprisingly not a big part of it. I wasn't as much, like, I don't know why I didn't come across his content as much. um yeah, I'm trying to remember this guy's name. It'll come back to me. But and then personally, along the way, I had Mike Ortiz. So I want to give a big shout out to him. He's been He's been pouring into me and blessing me big time. He's been a big mentor of mine. He actually helped, he is like the behind the scenes guy that really helped some of the biggest ClickFunnels people become the biggest ClickFunnels people
Is it?
before, like, yeah, like OG, like first round of 2 X Club Award winners.
All right. Okay.
Guy, Mike Ortiz, he helped them get there. And he's like the unsung hero and he needs his time. So I'm trying to bless him back. He's been pouring into me. He just saw something in me, I think, that aligns with him. He wants to further the kingdom of God as well. And I think he's just been coaching and mentoring me, honestly, out of the goodness of his heart. So I want to give a big shout out to him. Check him out if you guys. He's maverickagency.com. You can
Check him
Google
out.
him. Definitely
Do
check
you,
him out.
do you do any daily affirmations or meditation or anything like that?
Yes, definitely. I have one I say every day. I try to do it always right when I wake up before I grab my phone. That's the challenge, right? I'm like, ugh, I'll grab it. I'll be like, I'm like, okay, I got to do the prayer. Okay, so this is what I say every morning. I say, Dear Jesus, separate my flesh from my spirit, remove all selfishness, greed, pride, ego, fear, stress, anxiety, scarcity mindset, and replace it with the calmness, peace, and abundance mindset of the Holy Spirit. I pray that I have the fruit of the Holy Spirit today: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness, and self-control. I pray that I would identify negative thoughts as the enemy, as the battlegrounds which is in my mind. The spiritual warfare happens right up here. The enemy's we're clashing up here. And I pray that I would put on the full armor of God, which is the helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, which is to do what is right, the belt of truth, the shoes of peace, that your walk would match your talk, the shield of faith, and the sword of God, which is the word of God. I'm grateful for everything that's happened to me in the past, that's happening to me right here, right now, like this podcast. And then I'm grateful for everything that is already done. It is finished. And I say, and then I say, like, I pray that I remember that that we are the sons and daughters of the King and Creator of the universe. So we have royal blood pumping through our veins. I pray that we would start puffing out our chest, and start acting like it, hold our shoulders back, start acting like we're a part of the royal family. And then lastly, I always pray that that God would speak to me, that he would tell me what he wants me to do today. And then I say, in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Wow. So where did you get that from? Who instilled that into you?
So that one, separate my flesh from my spirit. Where did I get that? It's the flesh from my spirit. Who said that? I remember someone said that specifically. And then, I mean, it's like the Bible. I pieced it together. Like, who did this, separate my flesh from my spirit? I remember someone specifically once said that, and I was like, that's really good. Oh, John Robert Eddy. Check him out. Awesome guy. He has the Unfair Advantage book. He's amazing. He really lit up a fire in me. He's amazing. He said to separate my flesh from my spirit. He said the pride, greed, ego, selfishness. I remember I heard that. I hear pieces from people that I like and I say it. Then I added in the fruit of the Holy Spirit, which is the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness, self-control. I've heard people say you can experience the emotions you want to experience by just deciding that you want to experience. You want to feel love? You can feel that right now. Just think about it. So that's where that comes in. The gratefulness is pretty, straightforward. The past, present, and future. And then the full armor of God. That's biblical. That's the Bible verse that talks about commanding us to put on the full armor of God every day. And then there's another Bible verse that says, but make sure that you don't only recite affirmations, like have a real conversation with God and with Jesus. So I always end it with, and then like I say, like, okay, so now you speak to me, like drop me some divine wisdom right now. Like, what do you want me to do today? And instead of only having this framework, because it literally
Right.
says like, don't only have this thing you just repeat like clockwork, and you don't actually have like any like relationship and connection.
All
So
right.
I've just pieced it together.
Awesome. I like it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the focus for the next 12 months. What is that?
And what's going on here? I lost my screen. Can you still see me?
Yep, you're still here. Yeah, so
Okay.
what's
Say that
your
again.
focus for the next 12 months?
Focus for the next 12 months. Ooh, okay. So for the next 12 months, ooh, yes. So I have it on the background of my phone because Jim Rohn says, look at it twice a day, right? Look at your goals. And so one of them is to partner up with 5 9-figure businesses and have equity rev share with those businesses. And it's funny, since I wrote that down, now I think we're gonna be, I think we're already at 3, and I'm trying to do 5 by July 4th, 2023. And then the other one is
Awesome.
to grow my coaching program
All
in
right, okay.
to 7 figures. So I got a 2 Comma Club award for the coaching aspect of what we've been able to create over here. Now we want to coach it.
Right, okay. So how are you finding these 9-figure businesses that you want to partner with?
So honestly, so far it's been to find bigger companies like that, or at least they're on their way to 9 figures, is also like, obviously if they're already at 9 figures, it's hard. It's like, oh, we're gonna get you to 9 figures. We're like, oh, we're already there. So we need people more like at 10 to 50 million.
Right.
But honestly, I by going to conferences.
All
So
right, okay.
yeah, I actually just got back from a contractor conference from last week with Sales Transformation Group. Shout out to them, they're awesome. And I met several people that are perfect candidates for that, and we really locked in on belief system and the way we operate. And I think, I just get out there and
All right, okay.
meet
So if
people.
anybody wants any tips then on going to conferences and finding their ideal client, what's your best tip for doing that?
Oh yeah, I was just talking about this the other day. I was like, oh, this is like, I need to like make this a framework. Like this is like cheating. Okay, so get this. You ready? This is probably going to be a framework that I teach one day. Okay, so number 1, start a podcast. Step 1, start a podcast. Step 2, invite someone from a conference that is influential to that podcast. Step 3, build a relationship with that person. Step 4, go to the conference that they're going to be at and have them introduce you to everyone they know.
All right, okay.
That literally, it's like, oh my, I was like, I need to do this. I could literally do this every month, and the growth would be astronomical. I mean, literally, okay, I have a conference that I want to go to for landscaping next month. All I got to do is find a key board member, player, coach, someone at the company that is like influential, and have them on the podcast, build a true and authentic relationship, bring real value, and get to know who they are. And hopefully you click. And if you do, then when you go to the conference, you just say, hey, would you mind introducing me to some of the like key players? Dude, they're like, sure. They introduce you, and the rest is history. So that's
That's
a little life
awesome.
hack.
Simple is best.
Sometimes.
Okay, last question. If you were going to be an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
Whoa. Whew, oh wow, that's a good one. Animal. I mean, the first thing that popped in my head, literally as you're saying it, was like, I picture like a tiger, a black panther. Uh, and I'm assuming that my brain's telling me that of just like striving and like the fun, the game, of the hunt, the fun of the hunt, and um I think that I grew up racing motocross. I was born in Surf City, USA. And I was, oh, do you surf? I was like, no, actually, I tried it. And I did not get it anywhere as close as much adrenaline rush as motocross. So I think I have this like, I'm like a recovering adrenaline junkie. So I think that's maybe why I'm like, Tiger, Black Panther, like go get it, like have fun, gamify it, make it a challenge, competition, So I think that's what
Awesome.
I go with.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been awesome to find out your story. If anybody listening wants to find out more about what you do, where can they go and find you?
Yes, so they can head to go.dreamdesignlabs with an S at the end .com/950K hyphen 30 days. So that's 950K hyphen 30 days. And there I on a silver platter as my gift, I will share with you exactly how we were able to generate $950,000 in revenue in just 30 days.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. Thank you very, very much. And I'm sure our listeners will love it. So again, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here, and I look forward to seeing where this goes.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast on your podcast software. It really helps us rank the podcast and get more listeners. And if you're over on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT, we release a brand new episode. And until then, have a good one.